I found that when she cooked, I did the dishes. When I cooked, the dishes would sit there. If I cooked on Sunday, the dishes sit there Sunday. Monday, we both go to work. Whoever comes home first will start cooking or whatever. That was the plan.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, it can't be replaced. There's no one else to do. That's why I'm in love with you. I wanna please you in any way I can. I wanna share my world.
All right, everyone. Welcome to our show, Dating and Marriage Perspectives. Damn good to the last word. This is Karina and Amber, your co-hosts for the show. Welcome back. If you're new to us, just welcome. We have two guests today, very special guests. We have Emil. Do you see the resemblance? He's my brother. And we have Eric.
Do you see the resemblance? He's my brother from another mother.
That's what I was going to say about Eric.
All family.
That's right.
So we're excited to have both of you here. So 3 weeks ago, Amber and I had a show on whether or not relationships are 50-50. Do they exist? Is it reasonable? Should they exist? Right. So she and I had a conversation about that. It was motivated by some text messages I received from my brothers. I have 3 brothers. They're all married. And so they had a lot to say. So that was the motivation behind that conversation. So then we thought we need to bring some other perspectives into this conversation. So Emil and Eric, both married as well. For a little while, I'm not going to say how long, plus I don't really remember. Kind of the same family dynamic. Eric has 2 grown sons, almost in the late 20s.
Mid-20s.
And then Emil, same thing, also has 2 daughters in their late 20s or so, maybe early 30s, but around the same age. All right. We were getting into it before we press record. Let's just continue what we were talking about. So, guys, can relationships be 50-50? And what does 50-50 relationship mean to you? Like what does that look like? What is 50-50 relationship?
Eric, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Sure. I'll jump in. The question is can a relationship be 50-50? Yeah. Can also be 60-40, 70-30, 80-20. 100% is on one person's part. Another person's not doing anything. The ideal, of course, we're both in this to win it. So we're both contributing equally. So that's a 50-50 partnership. We're both committed to the relationship, to each other, the family, the house, progress, however you want to label it. But then, reality hits. The kids need something. You're tied up with work. I'm tied up with work. There's all these other factors that contribute to that 50-50 suddenly becoming less and less 50-50-ish. So that's me in a nutshell, basically, telling you that while it could be 50-50,
Can you lower your camera a little bit more?
I can lower it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
And what does, sorry, I meant to ask you, and I think the other question was, what does 50-50 mean to you, Eric?
It means this camera's messed up.
It's not doing its 50% job, huh?
Right there.
There we go.
There you go.
50-50, like I said, I think before we got going, that's an ideal, as long as you're doing everything that you can do to make things work, whatever that thing is, and your partner is doing the same input, that's 50-50. I don't know if it's like a measurable thing. Oh, you didn't do the dishes half the week, and I did them more than half the week. That's not really what I'm talking about. I mean, recognizing that the other person is doing a lot of input, and then you got to step your game up to match that person's input. That's 50-50.
That's interesting, because I did write that question down. Would you consider, let's say during that time it was 80-20, right? You were giving 80 and that person was giving you 20%. Are there times when that may equal out to be 50-50 based off of what your spouse is doing at the time?
In my opinion, I think that, as you move as a couple in your relationship, it's gonna teeter to, beyond 50-50, 60-40, 80-20, what have you. But if you move the entire time at 80-20, that someone's going to get pissed off.
Sure.
Someone's going to see the inequity in this relationship. Someone's going to be doing all the work and watching your ass sit around or not be involved or not do stuff with the, whatever the dynamics are, right?
Right.
And that's when the fun starts. My opinion, my experience. But at the same time, every day is a different day. You might be off, or you might be, busy, and your spouse has to step up and take care of everything. That's just how it rolls. But that's also something I learned over time. It's not like I walked into my relationship and instantly knew that that's how it worked.
What Eric said before we started recording about that is a theory is 100% true, and only because you always, I hate the fact that we have to splice it down the middle from perspectives of a gender each, right? Because each gender, because there is that societal norm that takes over that, he's supposed to X, and she's supposed to receive and, do whatever. And a lot of that presupposes like there are children involved, right? 50-50 means something different when there are children involved. When it's not, it's usually, and I don't want to say the statement of every man for himself, but, we take on a role, right? We provide provision, protection, resources, depending on the kind of man that you are, right? If you're a well-balanced man and your foundation is strong, you have normal educational pursuits and the successes of most men, with movement that most men can have, then yeah, you might be seen as somebody who's valuable to a woman, and you provide what you do to keep her attention on you, right? And she may have to do less to keep your company, right? And there in itself lies the inequity in the relationship, right? The pursuing of you is almost 80%, 90% of the time. And what most women do is take in the pleasures of what she could be afforded, right? It's when the relationship is consummated and it becomes more, and then the quality of the relationship is enhanced because now she is now bought into something like, say, I don't know, you're engaged now, right? That places a different value on the relationship, and she feels more valuable and he feels valued, right? Because she said yes. Now, where the inequity comes in is what they have decided it's going to be. This is not like a billionaire marrying a school teacher, right? This is a professor marrying, I don't know, an executive at a pharmaceutical firm, right? Both of you make great money, both of you are providing for each other, then children come in the game, and then the 50-50 part ceases to exist. Only financially, you may be somehow, some way equal, perhaps, but the rest of it becomes a little unbalanced only because one is now supposed, the word is supposed, to take on more. That's when you decide who does. And that's when the relationship either gets to a better level or naturally it begins to deteriorate because somebody isn't providing the emotional support, right? It's classic relationship downfall theories, right? Professor is not making enough money. She's a pharmaceutical executive. Maybe she makes 150. He makes 80 at his tenure. Who knows? Who cares? But somebody is going to feel the brunt of the inequity and it not being 50-50. But it comes in with, was there a discussion on how this relationship is going to be? Because even with the discussion, somebody usually 10 times out of 10 scales back the efforts in keeping the relationship at an even keel, if that makes any sense.
I like that last line because, you know, that makes me think about what 50-50 are we talking about? 50-50 of what?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
And the dynamic, like if he brought up a great point, you know, if there's no kids involved and we're both equally financially there, okay, then what's 50-50? Is it we're both contributing equally financially? Is that what, you know, is that our dynamic for our relationship? And that stuff needs to get discussed ahead of time, I think, as well, to make sure you understand what that 50-50 looks like.
Yeah. Because I was thinking like 50-50, to me, definition of 50-50 is like everything is split down the middle, financially, groceries, chores. If there's one car in the family, you split half the week on who you know what I mean? Like everything is like 50-50. But what Emil is bringing up is that there could be some 50-50 aspect of the relationship, but then there's other aspects of the relationship where it's 50-50 just doesn't exist.
Yeah. Human nature is meant to sabotage any aspects of fairness, right? That you employ in a relationship. Perfect example, and it's not a slight on my wife. It's not a slight. I just want to give you the perspective.
Don't get in trouble.
When somebody says something and you take them at their word, you have to watch that. So when we first got married, she was like, she hates doing dishes, despises it, right? I get that part. The garbage, clearly I know what my role is, right?
Wait, so you do know what your role is?
I know my role. I know going in what the role was. I mean, I'm going to take the garbage out, all the nasty stuff that she doesn't put her nicely manicured hands in.
You might want to have Brett listen to this part.
I sure will. We'll put this on the
we'll put this on the intro. I will never take out the trash.
Not with
I've been taking out trash my entire list. I was 10, right? I know that role. But she can cook her ass off. And she said, all right, I hate doing dishes. So I cook, you do dishes.
Right.
When you cook, I guess she thought whenever that would be, when you cook, I'll do the dishes. And this went on for weeks. She would cook, everything was great, fantastic. And then months came in, it started to go down a little bit. Monday, Tuesday, she'll cook, Wednesday I might cook, etc. But I found that when she cooked, I did the dishes. When I cooked, the dishes would sit there. If I cooked on Sunday, the dishes sit there Sunday. Monday, we both go to work. Whoever comes home first will start cooking or whatever. That was the plan. The dish is still there. And she said, are you cooking tonight? I'm like, wait, but if I cook tonight, you're doing the dishes. She starts, then she'll cook, but then I'm still doing the dishes that she should have done on Sunday. So I'm like, oh, hold up. And it turned into an okie doke, right? And we've been married going on 6 years in June. She said that in 2016. I have been doing dishes when I cook and when she cooks for like 5 years now.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny because Brett and I, the exact same thing happened and we just would get in arguments. So I said, fine, you do the dishes and I'll do the laundry, fine. And
right.
I mean, that laundry will sit there. I'll tell you, I did a load, but that stuff will sit there to get folded for at least a week and a half, 2 weeks.
and that comes with double, better dealing. And I understand because I hate laundry.
Yeah.
So she takes on that, right? But there have been moments where she'll say, you need to do laundry because I'm doing X. All right, I hate it, but I'll do it. But laundry is not something you do more than dishes.
Yeah,
right.
That's
dishes
right.
You do every single day, possibly, maybe 5 to 6 days a week. You'll do something in those sinks, right?
But I mean, that's what a dishwasher's for. How difficult is it? Just wash them off and throw them in there.
Gotcha, but we got so that, I'm just saying.
Somebody got to do that. Someone has to do that.
That's true.
Right? Laundry's every 2 weeks, maybe 3.
For who? No, it's every
Oh, for
week.
us, well, yeah, you got kids.
That's why I
So
said,
I'm
yo,
just saying-
go into the laundry room. You know where the clean clothes are.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, a man has to honor his own word, right?
Sure.
A woman has the right to change her mind. So I'm like, there in itself is the lack of 50-50ness.
That is damn good.
That's right. That's right. That's true.
I mean, we have to be honest about the.
Write that one down, actually. Hold
Yeah,
on.
That's right.
A man has to be a person of his word, but a woman has the right to change her mind.
Yes. No, that
There
makes
in
sense.
itself lies the inequity in
Hence the
relationship management.
When you guys feel like when you guys are feeling like it's, let's say, I'm not sure if we should be using 50-50, right? When you feel like you are taking on more and maybe feeling unappreciated, how do you tell your wife? How do you tell your
And okay, so I like this question because I was thinking about that.
Mhm.
Can we be like obvious about it? We have two Black men here, and all of our experiences are, they're racialized. So I would really like to hear that response from, as a Black man contributing to a relationship, how, to Amber's question.
My wife is very sensitive, right? And I'm a salesperson by profession. So Amber can understand where I'm coming from. You have to choose your phraseology correctly, right? If a person is sensitive, because what happens is my wife has the propensity to extract a word inside the sentence she doesn't like, take it out and turn that word into the problem, right? So I have to monitor how I approach my dissatisfaction with the way she's done something, right? So I gotta, create an entire, epilogue or whatever. Say, hey, listen, I gotta phrase it, but I love you. However, there's something I'm concerned about, and I need for you not to be upset. It's something that I noticed.
However, is not a good word to use because now you've just divided.
You literally.
I know.
Just defined the point about extracting the word and turning that word into what you didn't like.
That's what I do. Amber knows this about me too.
Classic pathology of how we interact with each other. This has been going on for decades. And I'm not saying that it's just Black women, but women in general. When you hear the trigger word, you latch onto trigger word. And that word is the problem. No, I'm just using it inside the sentence to define my dissatisfaction, but you hijack it. So now I have two issues to battle. The thing that I brought to your attention and the thing you deviated into, right? So I'm saying all this to say that over the past few years, she began to understand how I communicate, right? I am deeply, deeply affectionate and I'm an empath, right? I feel stuff instantly. However, I have this thing, right? Karina, I'm from Brooklyn. You know how I behave. You know how I talk, right? I can get in. I become a whole other person when I feel like I'm getting riled up and disrespected because you know I'm your husband, right? So I'm not here to disrespect you. I never, not once in my life, called my wife out of her name. But if I have something that I need to say, you should be respectful enough to hear it and not extract words and turn it into Harry Potter episode. I'm like, look, I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying? One little thing turns into this, right? Yeah, Dumbledore, you're like, boom, like magic, it's a whole other story. And I'm like, listen, so I have to approach it very sensitively and find the wording to let her know what you did, X, hurt or bothered me because I feel X. I do that all the time when I know because that's when the comfort level is too much. Like when you get too comfortable, you almost forget that person is actually an individual with feelings. Mm-hmm. And men, we are discarded and dismissed way more than we care to say. A lot. We're dismissed a lot.
And do you think we don't recognize that? Do you think that women don't recognize that?
You don't at all. You're not even concerned.
No.
Won't be concerned.
We're concerned.
It's not that we're not concerned about it, but if we don't know, I think
But
sometimes
it may not matter.
No, it matters. It matters. When Brett told me, I took it to heart. I had to look at, okay, what are some things, from the projects that I'm working on, things that I'm doing outside of the house. What am I doing? Am I taking on something else? Why does he feel that way? So I have to be told. I'm okay being told, but you better come with me correctly. You are right about that, Emil. No. I'm just saying, when you listen to the episode and he tells me we went out to lunch or to dinner, and I'm thinking we're gonna have a good dinner and chill, and that's when you tell me, shit, you should have just told me on the drive over so I was prepped for it. Don't hold things in for 3 or 4 months, which is what he does, which is fine. That's just how he does things.
Yeah.
But if you hold shit in and I don't know, I can't fix me if I don't know what the issue is. I don't have a problem.
I'm a firm believer that there are people out there who are just not self-aware. They're not self-aware of who they are.
That's fair.
Right? And
That's
if you're
fair.
not self-aware of your level of intensity, right? The way you approach or your tone, right? Because tone is everything. Even on text, we sometimes we misread texts like you wouldn't believe. So imagine tonality, right? And sisters, your tone comes with exclamation points. It comes with finger snaps. It comes with
I don't have the finger snap.
All kinds of theatrics. Right? Sisters' tone come with theatrics. So
not all of them. I don't have to tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. All this, what, and all this, the hands.
No, I don't see that. You said right.
All the kung fu, all that.
Wait. Before we get to Amber, can you repeat your question? Because I want to hear Eric's perspective too.
I don't even remember okay, what was the question I had asked? If how do you tell your spouse that you're feeling like things aren't, let's not even call it 50-50, but you just feel like you're unappreciated, and maybe you're doing more at the time.
Yeah.
I think we're at the point in our marriage, body language, the tone, either it's about me or it's not. You know what I mean? Like I'll know within a few minutes if I cross the line, or is it just something with the work day? You know what I mean? Like it's one or two things, right? So, and then I can most of the time feel the vibe and step up my production, if you will, in terms of doing stuff or being present or what have you. Or you know what, we have to chalk it up to the game and try again the next day. Sometimes you gotta take that loss that day, especially if maybe as good as I think I am, I'm not. You know what I mean? So if I don't know what the hell's going on, and we're not ready to discuss it, or what have you, we address it when the team is ready to talk about what's going on. But generally speaking, body language is a big one for us.
How do you tell her though? How do you let her know that
if something's wrong, I'm most of the time I'm gonna say something, or you're gonna see me, my body language, I'm off. Say, hey, what's we're good enough now to be like, hey, is everything okay? No, hell no, it's not okay. And we will proceed to explain or not, or if it's most of the time these days for us, it's work. It's not you, it's
me.
It's these motherfuckers over here,
right?
So that's a big part of it. Then I know where the wine is. Let me go do my job. Let me go take care of mama.
Yeah.
And stay the hell out of her way. And it's the same thing for me. Like but she knows that if she presses the right buttons, I'll tell all.
So
we're at that. That's where we are in our relationship. It's not perfect in terms of reading each other like that, but I think we got like a high 80s, low 90s.
Oh, that's really good.
Out, so
how long did it take for you guys to get there? I'm sorry.
Yesterday. We just figured it out yesterday.
Oh, good. So this is a perfect timing.
No, it wasn't, but it took, I would say 6-7 years before we started like, oh, hey, this is what he's gonna do. Here's his reaction. This is what Eric's gonna do when he sees this or hears this or what have you. And
wait, how long you been married to D?
We're coming up on 15.
Damn.
Okay.
So half the time you've been married?
But you were a quick learner.
14. Sorry, 14.
Yeah, get that right. This is recorded.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree with what you said, what Eric said. My wife is exactly the same way. Is the body language thing is more about how she communicates. So if I know there's a tension in the room because she doesn't speak, right? I say, everything okay? And she looks at me and turns her head like this. I was like, oh, jeez. And so
the shoulder lean.
Yeah, exactly. So I got to figure out, oh, snap.
Yep.
What is it? So I started to play the tape back. Was it yesterday, 2 days ago? Because it wasn't yesterday. We were great. So
gotta look at the matrix. He's like, there it is, right there.
Today, I got to play the tape back and figure out what. Because if we were great last night, that means that something happened between. Maybe it was a text on what? Oh shoot! What? And then are you all right? And then she'll be like, "You'll figure it out." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then leaves me in the lurch, in a power play. Like 9 hours, a power play of silence, making me figure it out. And then if I can't figure it out, then, she'll decide to give me clues so I can figure it out. Right?
The breadcrumbs can drop.
So wait, are you okay with that? Like speaking of feelings and being heard and like, when you give more, when she gives less, whatever. Are you okay with that?
Of course not. Because we've already talked about it, but because her and I are completely two different people, right? We have the same interests, but we are two. It's the difference between like a Honda Accord and a Mack truck, right? One has different weight, one has different size, one has different. Everything is different, right? One is lighter, one, whatever. So I'm just saying that in general, I take all the weight, right? She can glide, right? So it's that kind of thing with me. I'm like, because she knows I like communicating. I like to ask questions. She's not a sulker, but she likes to like delve within herself because she feels I should know something.
Feelings.
Yeah. And then when she feels ready, then she'll communicate with me, but it could be like a day or two. And we're trying to bring, it used to be 3 and 4. So we're bringing it down to like 1 day now.
It's improvement.
You know what? Good. You have no idea how fantastic that is.
Yeah. That's
seriously. Almost immature to me, but you can't make someone be like you. I can't, I can't force her to absorb the way that I don't think that's fair or right.
You're a reflective person?
Impose that.
Is she a reflective person?
Reflective?
Reflective. Like she needs like a day or two to reflect on what you did, like what happened.
Yes, she plays the tape back quietly to herself to see if she had anything to do with what happened with or vice versa, right? So know how she's going to approach the situation because I'm a master conversationalist and I will pull it out. But she's going to feel like I'm okie doking her because I do sales. Like, oh, don't give me that sales nonsense and trying to make me feel like I'm gaslight me. And I'm like, oh my God.
I think for me, if she plays that tape back in her head, like if there's something off with me and she knows it's not her fault, and she knows I didn't do a damn thing, right? Call me out. Well, why are you taking this out on me kind of thing?
Oh,
what does this have to do with me? And my part or how you treat me, you know what I mean? Like that, quickly recognizing that this ain't about her, it's about whatever I got going on. So that's a way she'll check me in that given moment. And then now I'm on the ropes. I got, what did I do?
Yeah.
you know, and I got to reflect.
Right.
You're right. It's not.
What Eric is saying is that I may have done or said something that she found was inconsiderate. And in her mind, I should have picked that up. But because I didn't put her into, I didn't think about her. So now that whatever that was, she's mad at me. But she wants me to think about it while, in that moment, like, what was it? And I'm trying to figure out, we were great last night. Today is like 8 o'clock at night. So what happened in between the day? I was at work. I didn't talk to you. So I'm thinking, oh, snap. Was it when I said, etc.? So if I do pick it up and I say, hey, you're upset. Is it because I said such and such? Oh, now you got it. I'm like, oh my God. And then I got to go rescue myself. I have to rescue myself from the hole I put myself in, from not being considerate at a particular moment.
He said considerate.
Yeah, for whatever, because sometimes men don't. Sometimes we're very solution solving based type.
Yeah.
We gotta do this, do that. We might say something. Yeah, we might just say something that doesn't sound harsh, or it's not meaning to be, but you're talking about, and it comes off aggressive and gruff, and sometimes
that's me.
Somebody doesn't want to hear that.
That's me. I'm the man in the relationship when it comes to saying things, saying it like that instead of taking the time to think about how I can say it differently. Yeah. No, I think all the time, but I mean what I say the first time. That's the thing. But I have to realize that I can come off very harsh. So I have to learn to say, learning to say things nicer. I mean that with the eye roll.
And that's a self-awareness that I'm referencing, right? That you know who you are. So if there is something that needs to be managed or checked, people should be considerate enough to sort of kind of like re-engineer that, because that other person maybe shouldn't be approached in that way, because that's where it all can fall, go left.
Yeah.
That's how I am at this point.
Yeah. So ideally, before we close, how would you want, I guess, be satisfied in scenarios like the ones you just described? Because, instead of thinking through, backtracking, figuring out what you did or said to upset her, what would be ideal for you to feel like your feelings are being met, you're being heard, and you're not playing this charade kind of game, which gets back to our question of, not the ratio of the relationship, but when both of you are showing up for each other in a 50-50 kind of way in terms of feelings. So ideally, what would you want your wives to do to meet your feelings?
So I'm going to tell you what I did and how it helped. And I can't believe I'm just going to say it. So the biggest help, or the help I got, was from YouTube, right? So, and I'm sure Eric is familiar with what I'm about to say here. So there are a ton of women and guys on YouTube, self-proclaimed, relationship managers and people who are giving advice about, it's called the manosphere, right? And guys like Kevin Samuels and the lead attorney and all these guys who are on YouTube giving out information to help women communicate better, right? Said, this is how we are viewing your communication styles. And if you want a man to respect you or pursue you, and what men prefer this like X. So guys like that will emulate or reiterate.
I don't know. Did we lose him?
Yeah, I think so.
I froze.
Right? So I want you to understand, it's not just me. This is and there are women who are also giving advice on YouTube to women about how to approach and be better for their men, right? So I sent out a couple of links a few months ago, and I said, all right, remember when I told you about X? I said, listen to this. And I sent her like 3, 4, 5 of those things, right? In weeks time. And she said to me one day, oh my God, so I do that? I said, I've been trying to assist you in understanding this is what I sort of kind of been trying to speak to you about. So these people don't know you, but if they're talking about the same thing that I've been talking about, this is an ongoing problem that why most men are so dissatisfied in many different aspects of their relationships with women they're married to, whatever, etc. And then ever since then, she would send me links saying, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do this? And I've seen a complete change.
Nice.
In her understanding, like, wow, it's not just siloed in him. It's like there are other people who said the same stuff my husband's been saying for 4 and 5 and 10 years.
Yeah.
Like she's literally saying, wow, Emil said this to me 4 or 5 years ago. And this guy's talking and this woman is saying the same thing. Oh, snap. And then she'll send that stuff to her girlfriends. I've seen her. So I'm like, okay, so she's connecting the dots for me. And things have been so different because she's realized that, oh, he's not just being sensitive.
Sure.
He has a plausible.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah, point.
What about you, E?
Well, I don't know. In a perfect world, you would just, state the obvious, right? Like if there's an issue or there's a problem, just let me know.
Right.
You're fucking up, or hey, you're not doing your job,
right.
Whatever the case may be, so we can have that frank and honest discussion about how I am actually doing my job, and that's your perception is off or whatever. But that's not the real world, right? So I'm fortunate that my wife is probably not prone to piss me off as much as I piss her off, probably. You know what I mean? So there's that 50-50, not quite 50-50. Like I'm sure that most of the time it's me giving her some of my load, whatever that looks like. But I think at the end of the day, end of the day.
Oh, I just got it.
What?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Please go on.
What did I say? Let me look back and see. See, I gotta reveal the tape.
You said when I give her my load.
You got to, you know what? Amber,
Damn
on you. That's not what
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about my emotional
I know.
baggage.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh,
my bad.
Anyway, I think that, if that in an ideal situation, that would be, something that would be helpful, but that's not like reality, right? So I like where we're at in terms of how we communicate.
I as we wrap up here, that I was just thinking, and the guys, and Kay, you too, but the married men, to give me your thoughts on this. I guess if each of us are giving 100%, or our 100% at that time, it won't matter if it's 50-50. Is that fair to say? Like it may not be 50-50, like do the dishes and do the laundry, but if I'm giving you 100% of me at that time, it maybe if we're looking at the overall things, it may be 60. I don't know, but does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
For me, it does. Because there's days where, I might feel like I'm doing everything, even though that's not true, but in my head I am. Mm-hmm. But there's days where, she's done everything because I'm not, whatever.
But you've given your 100% out on that day.
No, I'm telling you, my 100% might be missing, but she stepped up her day. So the 100% in our world has been met, right? Mm-hmm. I may not have contributed equally that day, but there have been other days, you're not really worried about that equal portions of whatever we're talking about, because, at some point recently, you've been the one that needed me to give 100%.
Right.
And that was done for us. So we got our situation taken care of, your feet are kicked up, you're sleeping early.
Mhm.
I'm the one that's taking care of everything, which is very rare, but I'll go on record with that one. But at some point, there's a recognition that he's going to do all this stuff on the back end, or he did it earlier. So now I have no problem taking care of this right now.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's very true. I know for a fact that since my wife went out on her own and opened her own business
Great.
2021, I've taken on like almost 90% of the load, right? Purposely, because I know she's so engrossed and redoing her website and all these other things that she's doing to like sort of kind of like push out a new site. And she's home and she's frantically working. So I know I get up, I go to work, I come home, I get the groceries, I might vacuum, I might cook, because she's on this time thing, right? Then she goes out to do projects, et cetera, et cetera. So I know for fact that there's no way she's going to be able to do those things. And they're so minuscule a matter that she has already gotten in her head, well, I know he's going to do this, he's going to do that, because I told her I'm going to do. So I purposely took on like the 90%
Right.
of it, right? Whether it be the rent or the dishes or cooking or the vacuuming, or she might do the laundry on like Sunday because she knows, okay, I haven't done the laundry, but he's done everything else. That's great because I know what she's doing and it takes a lot of time. So I purposely have taken on the 90. So there's no fussing about who's doing what percentage to please the relationship, right? It's only when you acknowledge that you're purposely doing it on purpose for the benefit of somebody else.
Yeah.
Right?
And maybe that 10% that she's giving is her 100% for that day.
And that's my point, right?
Great point.
Mhm.
Great point.
And that's my point.
It seems like 10%, but it's really
Yeah.
her 100%. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
like that.
Right.
And I'm happy knowing that it's working because it's been really, really great for her because she's constantly has papers everywhere and diagrams and books and pens everywhere. But I know what that means, right? So whatever I have to do I circumvent and I just do everything else to keep her motivated so she doesn't feel like, God, he's not doing nothing. Why I got to do X and X and X and X and X?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. This has been awesome and I hope informative. And I wrote some like that 100%. It kind of was dawned on me that, maybe that portion that Brett was lacking, for me was my 100% for that day. But, I'm aware, it's a good thing to be aware of what's going on and how your partner feels and just have the conversation and communicate with them. So Emil, Eric, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. We hope to have you guys back. Come back anytime. We love the opinions. So
I'm here for the invite.
There we go. Just let me know.
We will. Absolutely. You guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to keep following us, share us out to your friends, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, Eric. Bye, sis.
You too. Let's see.